Yeah, ready when you are.
Hi, and welcome to What Makes You Shine. What Makes You Shine is all about brilliant people who shine by helping others shine. My name is Steph Lloyd. I am a bioenergetic practitioner, a homeopath, and a coach, and I love the work that I'm fortunate to do every day. Today, I'm speaking to Nick and Rich Stone, who have created the Nourish Community. Nourish Community is a not-for-profit organic vegetable garden where the majority of all the produce goes to people in need within the local community. Their passion for diet and health started a few years ago when Nick and Rich began diving deeper into nutrition and came to learn about the link between diet and disease, realizing just how powerful what we eat can be for us and how it can either work for or against us. During the lockdown in spring 2020, they started growing a few vegetables for a bit of fun, which then rapidly grew into a much larger project where they now have volunteers and donate to local food bank and individual within the community. So hi, boys.
Hey, how you doing, Steph?
How you doing?
All right, thank you very much for coming on today.
Yeah, no, thanks for having us.
Pleasure, yeah, thanks for
joining in. Yeah, we're
well up for it.
So how did it go from just a bit of fun to this amazing project you've got going?
Great question.
You want to take this one?
Well, I was going to say start with the broccoli. Oh no, I was going to say start with the broccoli. Well, yeah, I mean, it started really with you and Mum, didn't it? Back in lockdown. So just quickly explain that.
Yeah, I guess what it was, like you sort of said anyway. We came home. We were living in France for a year in the French Alps. I'll give you this little bit first, and then it sort of leads on to it. And we were seeing all the local French, like local people with their amazing little veggie patches, and it really started to. We were looking at when we were thinking, how we want to really get into that. Didn't really have the space to do it when we're out there. Came home, probably a week into lockdown or something like that. It was our mum. So I want to just grow a few veggies. We're like, yeah, there's nothing else to do. Kind of within reason.
It was really sunny as well, wasn't it?
It was really sunny. And we have a couple of polytunnels in the back that haven't been used for a couple of years and we're all overgrown. So we're like, yeah, why not? Let's have a beer and grow some veggies, kind of thing. We just started having a bit of fun with it, growing on a small amount. And then I don't know, it's weird. It just felt right to be doing this and good to be doing it for whatever reason, wasn't it? And then what did sort of, pardon the pun, plant the seed with the idea of getting more was our friend Laura.
Yeah. So we were literally just growing just a bit of veg here and there and making a few epic mistakes, but that's another story. Another time.
We can talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. And then at around the time, so going back, so we've always been interested in like diet and looking at food as medicine and all this kind of stuff. So we were like, wicked. We could actually grow some veg and some produce that we could actually turn into like recipes or juices or smoothies. And at the time, that's when we saw a massive intake, an uptake with everyone, the queues at the food banks. And a friend of ours was going through some cancer treatment and financially not in the best place. So people who aren't maybe in a very financial secure place probably aren't going to use what money they have on fresh organic produce. So we were like, hang on a minute, why don't we just grow, and any surplus we could then give to friends or people that would use it and benefit from it to help support their health goals. And then the penny dropped and we realized, well, hang on a minute, there are tons of people out there, so many people out there, struggling in many different ways. And then it was from that point on, the seed was sown, and then the idea started to grow. And it wasn't until the following year, which was last year, was it last year, our second year, that we kind of took it a whole step further, and we actually looked at setting up a proper not-for-profit organization.
Amazing. So it's now a registered community project.
We're not a registered charity. We're we're like an entry-level not-for-profit organization where we have our own constitution and our own bank account, and we have volunteers
Yeah.
and sort of tick all those sort of boxes. But we didn't want to, where we were just so new to it and literally just learning as we were going, we didn't want to put ourselves in any sort of box. So we just came in very entry level, sort of basic, not-for-profit entity. But yeah, and it's awesome. So and with that, we've managed to get our first grant. We had a grant from the National Lottery. That was
congratulations, brilliant.
Yeah, that was really cool, and that happened really quickly as well. That was really good.
Yeah, it did.
And then through, to be fair, you've done quite a lot with finding volunteers online.
And then Steph, you obviously helped out a little bit at the start, didn't you? You and Paul.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But then since then we've just been connecting. So we've got like an Instagram, and people. It's been a great way to connect with people. And through that, we've had people who follow us message us saying, how can we get involved? So we have a couple of volunteers come over, and it's just been really great. So we've kept tweaking and expanding, and now we're just kind of building up this really nice community network vibe of local people who either come here and get involved, volunteer, or we support with some of the produce. This year's been it's one big experiment with everything we're tweaking and changing, but it's been a really great step forward for the project.
Yeah, you've learned a lot along the way as well, haven't you? Let me see if I can show some photos of what we've got. Bear with me a second. So there's Nick looking content with his work. Can you see it?
That was last year, wasn't it?
Last year.
Yeah.
I like the sweet corns.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh my God, it's changed even.
It's changed a hell of a lot.
So that was last winter, right?
That was last winter.
Last April or something, wasn't it? Doesn't look like April. And that's in the Polytunnel. What we got there then, guys?
It's changed since
then. It's changed so much. That's a nice one. Yeah, so on the left, that was a cool little project we did in the first lockdown. Was you see the raised beds on the left-hand side? We basically drove around a local industrial estate on a Friday afternoon, and a load of 3 pallets, chucked them in the car, took them home, stripped them all down, and then just built those 2 raised beds out of pallets. How fun was that? That was really
amazing.
Good. And that looks really good. So they're melons on the left-hand side, cantaloupe melons. And then on the right-hand side, we've got, that looks like rockets, rainbow Swiss chard, bell peppers. And then we've got some vines at the back, haven't we? Tomatoes and...
Yeah, and you've got your whole irrigation system as well, haven't you? Because that was an amazing project that you got together.
So So what we found out so the first year we were like, watering took a long time. And if you timed it wrong, if you didn't get out there quick enough or whatever, and the sun came up, then some of the plants would suffer. So we said, right, if we're going to scale up next year, we're gonna invest into a irrigation system. And it was the best thing we ever did, because literally 90% of the watering out is all automated. It's all set on like timers and everything. So it gives us so much more time to put into watching the plants, see how they are. Brilliant.
It's looking amazing, guys. So this is more recent, right?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So
that was last summer.
Oh, that was still last summer, yeah.
So this tunnel, had.
Sorry, do you want to go back?
Yeah. So this tunnel had completely just been blown to pieces. It was a bomb site.
Yeah, the plastic was all ripped off it. It gave you a headache when you looked at it.
Yeah, it was painful. But so last year we basically completely gutted it, re-wrapped it, and then we built these frames, because one thing that we love, and anyone can, a lot of people can do it if you've got a really small space, is you can vertically grow. Because you need like a square foot, per plant, let's say, if you're going to grow a tomato or melon, and then you just climb it up. So we built these frames, and on our left, you've got cherry tomatoes, then you've got cantaloupe and honeydew melon in the middle, and then you've got cucumbers on the right, and it worked perfectly.
So
it was incredible.
There's something so satisfying, especially when you live in England, when you walk into a polytunnel and you've got like a melon 6 foot in the air by your head, and you live in Dorset, south coast of England. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Amazing.
So it's changed a bit more since these ones. Yeah, so these are the latest ones. So we went, and I don't know if John has,
why don't you keep going and see if there's a better picture, because you can see all the beds maybe. I'm not sure. No, I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's
maybe that one. I don't know. But yeah, why don't you explain how we changed the beds?
Yeah, no. So we went. So the technique that we joke around saying how we went from just growing a few little veggies 2.5 years ago, whatever it is now, to now scaling up to a size that we feel comfortable with, and we just want to really hone our skills now. But we joke around because at the start we spent so much time just literally with our phones out, a packet of seeds, some pots, and get on YouTube how to grow tomatoes, how to grow cucumbers, how to grow everything. I mean, yeah, it's, you plant a seed, you put in some soil, you keep it a bit damp and some light. A lot of it is common sense, but obviously you develop skills and you really get better at it as you practice. So we did a lot of that at the start, and then what really helped to change us is
just to re-emphasize, just for anyone who like maybe might not do it because they don't know how to do it, we spent literally we would plant like 20 different types of seed and then go, oh crap, how do we grow it? And then literally just watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So like it's you can do it. YouTube is a godsend.
Yeah. So what's your best tip if somebody wants to try? What's the easiest? What would you start with?
What would we start with? Best tip. What have we learned in our crash course for 2.5 years?
So I mean, start the broccolis. I was going to say, like, start, even though we didn't and we jumped in head first, but there were 2 of us and everything. But start small, experiment, and then build up. Because then you could plant like 2 or 3 seeds of each of like half a dozen varieties, let's say, and then just kind of like observe how they grow. So yeah, you obviously do that, and then I mean,
best tip. Start off grow something you want to actually eat. I would, because you're going to be more sort of driven to try and look after it and want it to do well.
Put some love into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're quite good at that, aren't we? We try and do a nice bit of good intention, and we've got some crystals out there and everything like that. So we add that. There's more we've got ideas down the line, but the energetic side of things as well.
We were raking the potatoes together, weren't we, Nick?
We were. Yeah. That was good. Oh, they did really well that year.
They did do really well.
Many. Yeah, thank you very much.
They're still growing now.
Still growing in the wrong places.
They're still under the ground, and every so often they pop up. Experiment with veggies you actually will eat, and maybe don't just go crazy and grow stuff that you never even really you might not like. But then, I mean, and things that like that easily produce, so then you get this kind of like feel good factor from it. So like, I mean, again, like tomatoes, we had lots of success and fun with tomatoes, like cucumbers, but then like things more like hardy stuff, like your potatoes, onions. We've grown garlic this year last year, harvesting it at the moment, so like all these cool like things that you can actually build a meal around. That's what we really like,
and it's just really not okay. We had a bit of, I guess, good fortune on our side because we already had some polytunnels there, and they really can help start your season early, protect things, and some of our plants have grown insanely well. But it's not, as long as you've got some you go for a pretty general plant like veggie, you just need a bit of light, a bit of moisture, a bit of common sense, and it's amazing what you can actually grow.
Yeah.
And you just get more comfortable and confident as you do it, like with anything. We literally had no idea, and now we're so much more confident, and just we see something like, right, how can we do this now, and let's go for that. It's really fun to vertical grow. I know you were just saying about it, but it looks cool and it's more easier to work with. That's been one of our funnest things, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And like things like, so a really easy thing to grow that just grows crazy is like beans, different beans. Like runner beans is a really common one. Like pretty sure every gran in the world is growing runner beans probably. They grow really easy and they look cool. Like start with something like that. We did loads the first year, didn't we?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the soil, does do we have to worry, because obviously everything is organic and beautifully looked after, so do we have to worry about the quality of the soil and the crop rotation and that kind of thing? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, maybe you
I mean,
this.
You're going to get a million and one different opinions about this.
Okay.
Regarding like crop rotation.
I guess we can just say from our experience and what we've learned, and now you maybe switch on to when we took over the no dig method from Charles Dowden, and
so an incredible resource and an amazing guy to follow is someone called Charles Dowden, who is all about the no dig approach. So basically leaving the soil as untouched as possible. And that really kind of caught our attention and made us think, what, leave the soil alone, because
we didn't get it at first,
because we were like, doing this, breaking the soil up and rotivating stuff in, but it's kind of started our journey now, learning about soil health and the
ecosystems within.
Exactly, and just that by leaving the soil as untouched as possible, you help support the ecosystems within the soil, all the microbes, and the soil health is far more better for the environment, for the plants. Every time we break the soil, we release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Whereas by doing a no dig approach, you're keeping the carbon like in the soil, in the ground, which is much more natural, completely more natural than releasing it into the atmosphere like commercial farming does.
And you can get growing quicker as well with a no dig approach. So why don't you just explain it a little bit?
So
what is the no dig approach? How would you set up a bed no dig?
Okay, cool. Yeah, so really quickly, with no dig, if we do a really quick example, is instead of like, say, literally digging down into the ground and breaking the soil and digging deep and mixing everything in, you can literally just start with some people lay like maybe cardboard down. We didn't do that, but some people will lay cardboard down and then they'll put like 4 to 6 or even 8 inches of compost or manure on top, and then they'll plant straight into that. So what you're doing is you're leaving the soil untouched. The cardboard and 4 to 8 inches of manure compost will help feed the plant and create the bed. So then eventually, as the plant goes down, it will then eventually tap down into the original ground. So you're supporting and feeding the ecosystem. So you're not. And another thing is you're feeding the soil. You're not feeding the plants. So you're not using all these different feeds and stuff that, that's a whole nother thing. But
and that's great, because it's feeding us. That's where the goodness is, in the soil. So as long as the soil is healthy, it's the same with the body, isn't it? You keep the soil healthy. And that feeds the plant.
Exactly. There's all these different feeds and all these different
money-making
things. And just from our experience and learning through Charles Dowden, I mean, you've only got to go on his website, Instagram, find his books and see the level he grows at and the quality. And he literally, generally speaking, he makes his own compost, and he will feed his beds generally once a year. So once he's established the actual bed, he'll chop it up around Christmas time maybe 2 to 3 inches. And that's generally speaking all he does to feed his plants. There's sometimes he will top it up a little bit more, he says, but it's far from you need this for this plant and that for that plant, and what pH is this and what is that.
Great. It's huge time saving as well.
Yeah, it's easier.
Oh
it
my
saves
God,
time.
yeah.
It's healthy for the plants. It's healthier for the soil, the environment, and it's game changing, to be honest. So we went on his course, and we have now adopted the no dig method. So we've literally had all this manure bought in, and
how many tons was it?
We had 10 tons, and we literally went through, and on top of the original beds that you saw there, we then changed our beds layout to 1.2 meters by 10 meters, and we just worked our way through methodically doing that. And we've now got 16 vegetable patches outside, and yeah, we're all doing no dig, and it's just working really well. There's a few other little tricks and tips that we've picked up, but that's overall the kind of like the way we're going about it now.
Amazing. Great. And so how can people help? Do you need more volunteers?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
how do they get hold of you? How can they contact you?
Best way to contact. So we get quite good interaction from our Instagram, nourish.community. But then
I'll pop that down on the video as well later on, so the link will be there.
That's brilliant, thank you. Our email address,
and then our email address is info@nourishcommunity.co.uk. And yeah, I mean, so we're always open to meeting new people and building our community. And we've got a couple of really great volunteers. We'll get them really well, but what we want to do now more than ever is kind of, yeah, like I said, build our community, have more volunteers to come and learn with us, because you know, we're only 2 or 3 years into this, and I think now more than ever we need to start looking at going back to nature and learning how to grow and become more sustainable and self-sufficient now more than ever. So if anyone wants to get involved, learn and see what we're doing, they're obviously more than welcome to come over and check it out and do some volunteering, try some of the produce, and we're also looking at this year and moving forward at doing some workshops as well, and just showing and sharing people some of our successes and failures that we've had, so that we can help people on their journey to, you know,
even just to inspire them just to grow, even because we appreciate not everybody's fortunate enough to have good space for growing, but even if, then that's what we're doing as well. We've got these little raised beds now, that a meter square kind of thing, where we want to sort of demonstrate what you can grow in a small area. So whether you've got an apartment and you're on the balcony, or even just a box window kind of thing, just to help people break down the barrier of, oh no, growing's really hard and I'll mess it up and everything like that. So yeah, it's just like you're sort of saying, to reiterate that.
I think, like you say, is breaking the barrier, is getting that courage to get started, and once you start, it's you know, it'll flow. And like you say, height, you know, I would never have thought of doing height apart from tomatoes, because that's all seen, you know, but otherwise it's like, yeah.
So oh my God, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just stuff you don't think about until somebody tells you, really.
And like all these tips of how to, so we're like multi-sowing a lot. So we're growing multiple plants in the same space. Like instead of 1 beetroot, we're growing 4 together. Sounds a bit like crazy, but actually it works incredibly well. So as they grow together, you just literally thin them out. So you're getting an early crop of beetroot or whatever it is you're growing, and then you leave the remaining 2 or 3 to grow to become full size. So you're literally growing 4 or 5 times the amount of, say, beetroot in the same space. And there's so many benefits to like multi-sowing.
Yeah, that's probably something we'd love to share and we're really passionate about, is the multi-sowing as well.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, you need to share all this, because this is great. So are the workshop going to be online or in the Bournemouth area, or?
It's going to be initially in person on location. So yeah, no, it would just be like, I don't know, we'll either do like an open day where people can just come over and come and go. They're like, or we'll do we will do a structured workshop where we'll walk people through the sowing, or like the soil prep, the sowing, the planting out, the building, the frames, you know, harvesting, watching for this and watching for that.
And then at some point, implementing the cooking as well, because that's another thing that we've become more and more aware of is, the first year we were growing all these things. I think we had like 30 odd different plants, didn't we?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then as we started donating more and more, we were realizing and sort of just concluding for ourselves as well. Yeah, you can give somebody, we've grown this amazing aubergine, right? Or whatever. And how many people, it's not the most common plant or vegetable that people maybe cook with. This is just an example. So it's then not just giving them food, it's teaching them how to grow even just a little bit, and then how to prep the thing and then actually turn it into something they're going to eat and enjoy eating.
So yeah, great point.
So
we're looking at building like an outside like kitchen area, very basic, but just so we can hopefully take people from the garden, harvest, show them how it's growing, and then prep and make something in the garden in our little cooking area, just to just showcase it and have some fun.
And what vegetables go together, and what complement each other, and that kind of thing. Yeah, so, brilliant. Yeah, because we've forgotten. We used to go to the greengrocers and just get things like that, but we've forgotten. So I think, unfortunately, it's not taught in school. Yeah, we need to learn how to grow and how to eat all over again, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And just to touch on very quickly, is obviously the big thing is looking at food as medicine. So instead of always because we've just been taught just go to our GP and get statins or get insulin, get blood pressure tablets. Whereas go back to nature, these plants do the same minus the side effects. So half the stuff in our garden is way up on the anti-cancer list. It's incredible. Brassicas, alliums, the meals you can make from that, it's just incredible. But we're not taught that widely, are we? So that's also a big cornerstone of what we're trying to.
And the organic part of it, not using any fertilizer, any chemicals to grow, it's so important, and the quality of the soil. So all the nutrients are in the are left in the vegetable. It's very, very important. So yeah, what we put in is our health, is everything,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's such a case of unlearning so much and relearning what actually comes natural to us.
What we've known for millions of years. Absolutely. Yeah,
that's a big thing for us, for sure.
Yeah.
So brilliant. Well, thank you so much. It's very clear that this project is really making you shine, and it's bringing you a lot of joy. So thank you for everything you do. I will put all the links underneath if you need to get hold of either Nick or Rich. Don't hesitate to contact me, Steph Lloyd at Sanctuary Clinic, and I will put you in touch with them. So thanks a lot for your time, guys. And
you're very welcome. Thanks, thank you very much for having us on. We appreciate it. Yeah, really do.
Yeah, I've learned a lot today already, so I'm ready to put my boxes outside, although I might be a bit late in the summer. Am I too late in the summer? What can I start?
Depends what you're growing. Yeah.
No, you can get end of summer stuff, and then you can look for your autumn, winter veggies, all your root veggies and salads.
Brilliant. I'll go with that then. All right then. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Rich.
Cheers, Steph.
Take it easy.
Lots of love.
Bye.
Yeah.